home from work. Oops, that's the wrong button. My husband is doing his own thing. So I'm gonna sit down and craft for 20 minutes, work on this knitting project, and I was hoping we could do it together. So I'm inviting you to get whatever craft project you're working on out. And let's just take 20 minutes to get some relaxing in, do something for ourselves, create something. It'll be fun. My name's Chris. I am not a professional fiber artist. I am just a gal who likes to make stuff for a hobby in her free time. My day job is completely unrelated to this. But what I want to do with this channel and with these videos is create a space for us to make sure that we're prioritizing doing the things that are good for us, and the things that kind of feed us and metaphorically, right? Feed us metaphorically. And that creates space in our own lives for enjoyment and creation, and arts and crafts, and those things that are so fundamental to our well-being, but that we tend to put on the bottom of the list of our priorities. And the way that I'm doing that for myself is I'm setting a little timer, 20 minutes, and I'm saying, this is my minimum. I have to do my hobby, which in this case is, arts and crafts. Today it's knitting specifically, but I have to do it for at least 20 minutes. I can do it for longer if I want to, but 20 minutes is my bare minimum commitment to myself. So I am working. I would love if you're spending this time knitting or crafting with me for you to tell me what you're working on. I'm working on this sweater. As you can see, it's just acres of this very repetitive stockinette stitch, but that's a very reliable sweater that someone would love to wear, right? Even if it's not the most exciting thing to knit. So this is for my husband. So this is the front of the sweater, the bottom of the front. Here's the waistband, and I'm working my way up. So once I get more toward the shoulders, there's going to be an interesting detail, a decorative cabling pattern that'll be fun to do. But for now, I just have to get through this wasteland of endless stockinette. So because it's pretty repetitive, I'll probably be pretty chatty today. And like I was saying a second ago, I am not pro at this. I am not pretending to be an expert knitter. This is not where I would come for advice on how to do specific things or the best techniques to use. This is more about creating the space to make sure that we do it, right? Which is my very polite ask for you to not come for my knitting technique, because I know that it's kind of slow and clunky and I'm not the best. But I'm more about the vibes. I know I could knit way faster if I knit continental style, or if I tried to be those super cool speed knitters. No, I seriously mean it. I've seen those. I love to watch videos. Those people doing the speed knitting. It is so cool. But I'm also oh my gosh, I could never. That is the coolest thing in the world. And that's your thing, not mine. So whenever I'm done with this sweater, which I've already been making it for over a year. To be fair, I took a long break because, again, it's so repetitive that it's really easy to just kind of like, I get really like inspired to keep going and keep knitting when I'm like, oh, I'm almost at this part in the pattern where something different's going to happen, right? If I'm like, oh, I only have like 4 more rows and then I get to do like short rows, and then I get to shape short rows are shaping, but like, and then I get to do a color, or then I get to do a different pattern. That really motivates me to like go. And when it's like a long time of just the same pattern, it's harder for me to stay motivated, even though that tends to be the stuff that people really like, right? Like these like very classic, very simple patterns, like it's going to be so beautiful. And that's going to be something that's like really classic and easy to wear. But in terms of maintaining my focus, it's a little bit harder. Oh yeah, and the pattern I am making, it is called, I believe it's called Rift. And I'm using wool of the Andes worsted weight wool. Yay. I will link those in the description. Yeah, I'm fully planning on having this be a regular series of like, let's just chill and do crafts together videos. And I probably will do more than just knitting because I have the attention span of a gnat when it comes to crafts, and I like to like kind of like flit around, and I'll like do knitting for a day or two, and then I will pick up another one for a day or two and then come back to the knitting, and then on the weekends I'll do sewing and stuff like that. So I know a lot of you out there are like me. So I probably will want to include a variety of arts and crafts on this video, or in this like series. So the theme is just, let's chill together, let's get a fun drink, I have a sparkling water here, and let's like vibe out and do our crafts together, and it'll be so fun. Yeah, definitely let me know if you're doing this with me, if you're like using this as a background video while you do your crafts. Let me know what you're working on for sure. I was saying earlier, I think I got sidetracked. I think I distracted myself. But I was saying earlier, I'm making this sweater for my husband, and it is taking forever because sweaters just take forever. Yeah, by the time I get done with this, or when I do get done with it, it will be the biggest project I've ever made, because I've never made a full sweater before. And on top of that, it's a men's sweater. We know those take longer. And then it's not a particularly chunky yarn, so that's going to make it take longer too. And then my husband, when I was like, okay, I'm going to make you a sweater, what pattern do you want? And like what color and all of that stuff. He was like, I want it oversized. I was like, are you kidding me? You want it oversized? So, because like, it already takes so long to knit anything, and I was like, you want it to be even bigger? But you know, if my goal is to, okay, here's my secret way of fixing that, which I don't think is super official, but it works. You can see the stitches oriented fine, so okay. But if my goal is for him to have something in his hands that he wants to wear, then like I should listen to his input, right? To an extent, right? I could always be like, that is beyond my capabilities, I'm not doing it, sorry. But I can definitely make the sweater bigger, it'll just take longer. which is why this sweater is taking me forever and why I need to break it up with other projects. But I know he'll just be appreciative in general. He's good about that. So I also do a little bit of sewing. Sewing is like the first craft I ever learned. I learned how to knit because I missed crafting, and I lived in a studio apartment and did not have the room. Oops, keep doing that right now. Okay. The room or the budget for a sewing machine. So I was like, well, I can learn how to knit because I can still make garments and accessories and stuff without having to get the big loud machinery. So that's why I learned how to knit. Oh my gosh, why am I doing that so much right now? Okay, it's fine. I think I'm being a little bit careless. Okay. But what was I yapping about? Oh yeah, so sewing was the first craft that I ever learned. I'm still not an expert because I'm such a dabbler. I haven't really developed expertise in any one craft. I just kind of bounce around. But so months and months and months ago, maybe even over a year ago, my husband has this little it's a jacket, it's a top. I think it's kind of shaped like a kimono that he likes to wear. It was one of his favorite things to wear, and it had two parts of it that needed mending. There was a rip in one spot and a hole in another. So I was like, I can repair that for you now that I have a sewing machine. I was so wrong. I was so out of practice with sewing, and mending on a sewing machine is weird, where I should never have tried to do it on a sewing machine. I should have just gone for hand mending from the start. So I gave it a pass, and then it looked horrible. It looked so bad, and so much so to the point that I kind of shoved it in a drawer, and I was like, I cannot look at this or think about this for a long time. In the meantime, he's like, where's my favorite jacket? I'm like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I told you I would fix it, and I got myself in over my head. So it sat there for a month, for such a long time, which to the point where when I opened my craft drawer and saw it, it would stress me out. So finally, over this weekend, I finally sat down. I was like, I'm gonna actually fix this. So I tried to fix my initial botched mending job, and it is still bad. I'm still not great at mending. But it's better than my first attempt, and progress is progress, right? But my husband's so sweet because I showed it to him, and I was so apologetic. I was like, I'm so sorry. I tried it once and it was bad, and then it sat there forever, and I did it again. It's still bad. I'm sorry, and I'm embarrassed. And he was like, that's fine. And he put it right on. He was like, I like it. And he was wearing it around. He did not care that the mending job was, in my view, so bad. No, he's just nice like that. Okay. Which is so funny because it reminds me, my mom was telling me this story a while ago. So my mom, she's the one who taught me how to sew when I developed an interest in it as a teenager. And she learned how to sew as a child, but she did not have a choice. She grew up in a time, in a place where that was considered a skill that she had to learn as a girl, and it was something she had to do, and so she hated it, right? That's a very natural reaction for a lot of people. You tell them they have to do something, and they're like, no. So she was like, I didn't want to sew. I hated it. I wanted to play volleyball. I wanted to play sports. I wanted to run around. So she knew technically how to sew. She didn't like it, and she didn't like put that much effort into it. And then after she and my dad got married, and they were young, they were like fresh out of college, she picked it back up again, and this time it was her choice. It was still kind of out of necessity, because I think she said she did it to kind of help with their budget. But she said, but she also like genuinely liked it at that point and then wanted to do it. She said the first couple times that she did it, that she made like work shirts for my dad to wear to his job, like his like first year job out of college. And she was like, these shirts were so ugly. She was like, it was embarrassing how bad they were, but he wore them and he didn't say a word. Like, he did not hesitate. He just put on the shirt and went to work. And she was like, I cannot believe that he wore those shirts. They were so bad. I would have been embarrassed, but he just did it. And it just reminds me, because when I gave my husband the like horribly patched up jacket that I tried to fix, and he was like, cool. And he like put it right on. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the same energy. Which is so funny, because a few weeks ago, my husband was like, do you feel like I remind you of your dad? And I was like, no. And then I realized with telling those two stories that is a similarity right there. And I feel like he just like walked through the background and heard me tell that story.
What's up?
I was telling the story about how I fixed your kimono horribly.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, see?
Are you on the phone?
No, I'm doing my video.
Oh, okay.
Did I do that right? Yes. Okay. Sometimes it goes so fast that I'm like, wait, did that actually work? Did I just like accidentally do a slip stitch without realizing it? That time it worked. And I will say, with how long the sweater is taking, even though I did give the warning at the beginning that I am slow and clunky at this, and I'm not super fast knitter or like an expert by any means, I've gotten a lot faster since I started this project. I did something kind of silly or bold, depending on your perspective, with this, where I added my own edging to the edges of these side pieces for sewing up later, which wasn't in the pattern, because it's my pet peeve when stockinette rolls in on itself like this, and it's still doing it, but not as badly as it would otherwise. So I added this, and I hope it'll make it easier to sew up later. That could have been a really, really bad choice, but we'll find out in like 3 months. So, okay. And that is our 20 minutes. So we did it. We spent 20 minutes working on our arts and crafts together. It was so fun. We're going to keep doing these little chat and craft videos so that we all stay focused on taking the time to do our hobbies, and we're going to have a great time doing it. See y'all later.